Hey, besties. Welcome to my chat. I am so tired today. It's your boy, Mix Mercury, the Astro Himbo, showing up like I promised I would on today, Thursday. What is it, October 10th? And this is actually going to be a short one because I'm very tired. I was falling asleep before I came on here. So I was like, let me do this early so that I can get it done, get my 10 minutes in starting now, and just share a little something, something. So, if you were on the live last night, I told the story of how I realized I was trans, and I also told some other personal stories. And then afterwards, I was talking to my friend Samaje and ended up smoking a little bit more than I intended and spiraling about the life that I just done and the fact that I don't smoke very often. So whenever I do, it's usually because I need to process something. My body is just like, hey, we need to check in for a moment. So I did. And then immediately I was like overcome with the Scorpio urge to run away and hide and not do these anymore because I felt like I've been too visible and maybe shared too much and let you guys in too much. And whether that's the case or not, the revelation that came out of it, as well as a couple of other things yesterday, was that I have a Mars Saturn opposition in my chart between Mars in Leo and Saturn in Aquarius. And that tends to make me feel like I need to do things all at once from the Mars side or not at all. So it's hard for me to find like a happy medium. And because of that, whenever I do things like challenge myself to show up on live more often, I make it challenging to the extent that I need to be here every single day for 30 days. And then I ended up saying, okay, I'll be here every day except for Saturdays. And now I'm like, okay, I'll be here every day, but I'm not going to do 90 minutes every time I come on here and make it a whole big production. Like sometimes the whole intention of this was that sometimes I just need to show up, say my piece, and skedaddle. So I'm holding myself to that today because, yeah, if I try to keep going at the pace of, you know, entertaining a small group of people and, sharing and oversharing and teaching all the time or just whatever it is for 90 minutes for 30 days straight, like I'm going to burn myself out and then not be interested in doing it anymore. Um, but if I just come on here for a moment, make an appearance, show up, say, participate, say hello to whoever is watching. I have two people in the live right now, and don't make it a big production. Um, can it still be valuable to me in my mind and um, still drop some gems or some truths or whatever it is? So that's what I'm doing today. I have a 20/30 minute max just in case more people do show up and are curious what I'm talking about. But uh, I want to share a little bit more about how I came to this realization. Hey, Samaje, you love this for me. Thank you, bae. Um, so whenever I first moved to Austin back in 2018, and for about from February to July, I worked at a fitness center for like older folks, and then I ended up getting hired at a yoga studio, which would eventually change my life, as many of you know. And that August 2018, they had a 30-day challenge where you do at least 30 classes in the month of August, I believe, or at least one class a day. No, it's a 30 classes um, for the month of August, and you can do those, at whatever pace makes sense to you. And it was a power yoga studio, hot power yoga. So if you've ever done hot power, that's what I'm certified in. Baptiste heated power yoga is what I got my certification in, and that is like the most athletic and um athletic and exhausting version of yoga that you could do. It's very fun if you're a person like me who, is kind of an athlete or likes higher intensity movement practices, but you're still trying to maintain a relationship with your body and you still want to gain flexibility and strength. So, it's great for that. It's great as a moving meditation, even though it was very much like loud music and 95-degree heated room through an infrared heater. You're sweating your balls off. You are drenched by the time you finish the class, and the flows are like a quicker paced vinyasa type flow. So lots of chaturangas, lots of sun salutation A and B, and then a creative flow moving from posture to posture. So I'd never done yoga before anyway, but I'd definitely never done power yoga, heated power yoga. And as much as I enjoyed it, it was also extremely taxing, not only because you are moving so much and they're foreign movements to your body, to my body at the time, but the heated element of it dehydrates you so fast. Like, not only does it dehydrate you, but it also tricks your brain into thinking that you're more warmed up and ready to go for these like big full expressions of a pose. You're more ready to go to your end of your range than you actually are in reality. So it fooled me. So I'm trying to do my 30-day challenge at the same time that I am learning how to be an employee at the studio and also a little bit of a management position. And I it started making me kind of sick. And by sick, I mean, I had just started weaning off of my antidepressant. I was taking Zoloft at the time. Also, hey, Priya, I see you here. Thank you for sharing what you like to do whenever you feel burnt out. I just started weaning off of my antidepressants, and I've been wanting to get off of them for a year. Like I've shared before, I was on them from my senior year of high school through college, from 2013 to 2018, and then through doing lots of yoga, I was able to start weaning off, which I don't necessarily recommend this, so don't be like me, but just hear my story. I started weaning off of it, and as I was weaning off of it and still like smoking weed and other things, focus. I was becoming really anxious. It's like the yoga classes were bringing things up for me to deal with and confront, and it was overwhelming and overstimulating. So I had to slow down because it turns out when I, asked around, does anybody else feel like they start to get anxious or stressed out or like old shit and old traumas start coming up and they're like, "Oh, yeah," cuz probably like everything that you've ever stored in your body, which is another conversation for another day, starts to come up whenever you are moving in these intentional ways. It's part of the whole thing. Because I was like, isn't that shit supposed to calm you down and make you feel better and not make you feel worse? So, in my opinion, I was having a bit of a purge, emotional purge through this experience, and I had to slow down. I couldn't keep going um, balls to the wall in a power yoga class for an hour every single time that I practiced. So I had to switch it up. And fortunately, at the studio I worked at, we offered power yoga classes, yo strong classes, which were like hit classes with yoga movements. Those were the most miserable. And then we had regular vinyasa classes, some that were heated, some that were just warmed. And then we also had yin and restore classes, which are basically laying around on props in different positions and more focused on breathing to open your body up than moving. So I got started doing those because one of the other teachers was like, this might be something really nice and cooling for your nervous system because the rooms aren't heated and they're in the dark and you just are like laying around supported by these props. And starting to do yin classes like truly, if anything, helped me heal my anxiety at that time or kind of resolve some of the anxiety I was having around even just being in a hot class, a hot dark class with um a whole bunch of other people. Like, our classes would be packed and I would often be somewhere in the room where if I needed to leave I could, and I never left, but I liked having the option because it started to feel claustrophobic and like trapped in such an intense experience. And that would give me a lot of anxiety too. So through doing the yin and restore classes, I learned how to breathe a lot better. And I also learned what anxiety felt like in my body a little bit more because I really had to sit with it and write it out. And the more I was doing those classes, the more I noticed outside of class, I was able to stay with myself and actually breathe through anxiety attacks when I was having them. And it also helped to recover a lot faster from the higher intensity classes that I was doing as well. So it was a very unique experience. I'd never heard of yin and restore. It was very meditative, very calming, and I eventually did get a certification in that style of teaching too. So I remember those things. I do them a lot before I go to bed. Those types of poses, and still to this day, if I feel like I'm carrying a lot. So, um, but yeah, all of that to say, like doing that 30-day challenge, like it did challenge me more than anything to show up sustainably, which is why I've titled this live that. Um, that I can challenge myself to do a thing consistently, daily, even if I want to. But I have to remember in order to do that, I can't do all of it at once on the front end. I have to be mindful of how much I'm giving, you know, um, in order to sustain my practice of showing up. And so I realized yesterday, also while I was mountain biking, if y'all saw, I put a poll on Twitter that was asking people, should I go mountain biking or should I go to the gym? Because the weather is finally starting to get to where I can go mountain biking in the middle of the day and not die of heat exhaustion. And I did the same thing. I started out the ride. I knew I was going to do about 7, 8 miles on a trail that's relatively easy, but I haven't been biking, so I'm definitely not in biking shape. And um, I started out the ride just like trying to go fast and like trying to keep momentum. And it's relatively uphill the first, like going in the direction I was going at the start of the ride. And so I was just like pedaling and trying to like focus on my form and how it felt because I'm also doing physical therapy for my hip and just trying to make sure my form was good and to push through, get my heart rate up, get my lungs burning because I did want that sensation in the beginning. But oh my gosh, it was like I was starting to dissociate on the ride, starting to kind of leave my body. And I was like, all right, I'm going to get to the other end. I'm going to take a break by the pond, drink some water, let my heart rate come all the way back down and stretch. And so I did that. And I realized, like, oh, I'm like doing too much. I'm trying to push myself unnecessarily. The whole reason I came out here was because mountain biking is more fun than the gym. If I wanted to just push myself and suffer, I'd have gone to the gym, which is, another story in and of itself. But I came out here to have fun. So on my ride back, since it's at least downhill a little bit more, like let me have fun. Let me, jump over roots and rocks and trees and let me practice pumping. Like let me do things that isn't just pedaling into infinity. So I did have more fun on the ride back, actually like playing around, being a little bit more playful on my ride instead of so laser focused, and that made it way more bearable. Stretching also helped a lot in between and drinking water, of course. So I got back to my car and I didn't feel like I was going to die. I was close because I did too much in the beginning, but I did all of that and then like I said came on and did the live and then had a panic attack about that afterwards whenever I smoked. And it's just so funny how our bodies are always speaking to us and always trying to communicate with us what our limits are, and that sometimes the expectations that we have of ourselves, or the expectations that we think other people have of us, can put us in a situation to ignore our own limits and ignore our own boundaries and our own autonomy. So that kind of felt like a bit of a Jupiter retrograde moment for me too, of just realizing like I've assigned myself this role of like being an astrologer or being a YouTuber or an entertainer or a coach or whatever it is, and feeling like I always have to show up as that thing, as a coach, as a person who has something of value to say and teach that is not just, me sharing a personal experience. And I still feel that way. I'm still doing it now, but as I talk to you through all of this, but I just thought um it was an interesting realization to have, and to also just share with my audience, like, yeah, even though I look super confident and I speak with a level of confidence and enthusiasm, like, I still get weirded out by being perceived just like everyone else, and I still have to go run and hide like a little Scorpio sometimes and not be seen and be less visible, or to just dial it back in, because as much as I would like to be seen, as much as I want my channel to blow up and, to get all of the things from doing this, um, it it doesn't all happen at once. As they say, Rome was not built overnight. So, um, yeah, I just wanted to share that as part of my process in doing this little challenge. Um, I knew it was going to get like this at some point, because usually about the 10 to 15-day mark of doing something consistently, I start to run into the wall that says, hey, you need to recalibrate, or you're not going to finish. And if you do finish, you're not going to finish in one piece. So that's what I wanted to say. Um, and thank y'all for listening. I want to see what y'all said in the chat real quick, and then I'm going to wrap up because I wanted to hold myself to about 20-25 minutes, and I'm almost there. So, hello, Priya. Priya said, when I'm burnt out, I try to at least a day trip out of my regular routine environment. Oh, take a day trip out of my regular routine environment, mostly to somewhere nature related and chill. Happy for you realizing this and taking care of you. Thank you. Yeah, I agree. It feels very 12th house. Like, sometimes you just got to withdraw and go somewhere that feels cozy um and understimulating sometimes. So, love that for you. Love nature for that especially. Hi Kratos, welcome back. Hello again. My coping for burnout has honestly just been leaving/removing the situation or thing that's burning me out, and spending time alone as well as with my people. I love that. Yeah. Sometimes you just gotta get that shit out of here for a moment and um, focus on the things that you love or care about or that feel good to you. I also, if I give myself time either today or tomorrow, I want to take a salt bath. Like, I really need a salt bath. I really need a cleansing bath, if we're being for real. I need to just make one. I need to find a recipe and make a salt bath, because I think a mosquito bit me, that fucker. Um, because I also need to cleanse spiritually. I can tell I'm very dirty in that sense. And then the salt bath just feels good on my muscles, because mountain biking is a lot on your body. Like, dealing with the elements is it hurts a little bit. I did go to physical therapy today, though. I still can't afford it, but I went anyway because I need to. And I'm glad that I did, because my hips actually feel better than they did this morning. So shout out to that. Bria says, aw, with a hug consensually. Thank you. Received. Wait, let me do it like this. Hug received. That feeling feels insurmountable at times. Yeah, it really does. Very much had the Leo bright spotlight. Like, did I say too much? Did I share too much? Was that okay? And when I get like that, I just remind myself that, there are worse things than being honest and sharing about your life on the internet. Like, people have been canceled for much worse, or, people have been judged or shamed for much worse. And if somebody has a negative or unfavorable opinion about me just sharing my truth, then that's none of my business. They can fuck off. You don't have to listen. You can keep scrolling, but that hasn't happened. But there's just like a weird, there's either that somebody is judging me or shaming me, or there's the other side that is like, oh my gosh, if I keep going live every single day for this long, like, are people going to get tired of me? Are people going to think I'm annoying? Are people going to think I'm, whatever, insert thing? And a lot of those are just projections because the reality is I was feeling burnt out and um, needed to take care of myself and um, listen to my body a little bit more. So, uh, I am enjoying doing these lives, so I'm going to keep doing them. And yeah, I'm just excited. I'm excited to see what happens with this YouTube channel and just with me as a person and as a diviner and reader and coach and all those other things. How this all transforms my work, especially. But this has been going well so far. So thank you to everyone who did show up today. I saw I had at least 5 people in here at one time, and I know everyone wasn't in the chat. So whoever wasn't in the chat, thank you for your viewership. Thanks for stopping by. And everyone who was in the chat, thank you for your brief contributions and for engaging with me in the quick 15 minutes ish that I was on here. So I will talk to you all tomorrow. Not 100% sure what the topic will be, but at some point I do want to talk about Saturn and Pisces square Jupiter and Gemini. Me and Samaj were talking about that a little bit after the show last night. And then I also want to do houses 1, 5, and 9 next as like a little review session. So keep your eyes peeled for that. And I will see you all very soon. Thanks again for stopping by. Bye.